From the Bronx TV and radio studios at UTPA in Edinburgh, it's the Bronx Sports Report. What's happening, Bronx Nation? I'm Daniel Morales. I'm going to be giving you the Bronx Radio SportsCast this week. This week, we have your NBA playoff coverage and the results from golf's most storied major. But first,
the UTPA Bronx baseball team had the best of Houston Baptist University, taking 3 out of their 4-game series, April 19th through the 21st, with a doubleheader played on the 20th. The Huskies took Game 1 of the series with a score of 5-4 at Husky Field after the Bronx allowed 2 key errors in the 10th, which allowed Houston Baptist University to come back after trailing. After Game 1, it was all UTPA from there as the Bronx took the following 3 games. The Bronx dominated the Huskies in their second game of the series and the first of Saturday's doubleheader as they used 9 runs to beat the Huskies in 7 innings, 12-4. The Bronx completed the sweep of their doubleheader with a score of 4-3 after being tied up 3-3 in the 8th with the Shane Clemenke single. Dylan Engelhardt gave the Bronx the final run of the game after sliding around Houston Baptist University's catcher. In Game 4 of the series, UTPA pitcher Dustin Knight struck out a career-high 12 in 8 innings to beat the Huskies 4-1 on Sunday to wrap up the 4-game series. On Tuesday, April 23rd, the Bronx fell to the UTSA Roadrunners 2-1 at Edinburgh Baseball Stadium, dropping the Bronx 22-18. For Bronx Radio Sports, I am Krista Hernandez.
On Boston Marathon Massacre news, sportswear athletic shoe company Nike has full shirts that read Boston Massacre, a reference to the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry, from store shelves in light of the tragedy in Boston last week. The phrase references a 4-game sweep of the Red Sox by the Yankees in 1978 that was a part of an epic late-season collapse for Boston. The shirt in question was printed in the Yankee colors with drops of blood splattered over the lettering. For sports news at Bronx Radio, I am Barbara Ibarra reporting.
The University of Texas Pan American announced they have hired their first head coach for the new women's soccer team, Glad Baguro. The Bronx are set to begin their inaugural season of women's soccer at UTPA in 2014. Coach Baguro comes from South Carolina State University, where he has coached for the past 5 seasons and is the winningest coach in its program's history. The coach made an immediate impact on arrival, transforming the program into a conference champ in 3 short seasons. Coach Baguro has also done an amazing recruiting job bringing in national team players from Mexico, Guatemala, Guam, Antigua, Bahamas, Trinidad, and Tobago. We wish Coach Baguro the best of luck, and we look forward to the first game. For Bronx Radio Sports, I'm Daniel Morales.
For the first time in NFL draft history, 2 offensive linemen went with the first 2 picks in the draft, with the Kansas City Chiefs selecting Central Michigan's Eric Fisher, followed by the Jacksonville Jaguars selecting Texas A&M product Luke Jokel. But the love for the big fellas didn't stop there, with another 7 offensive linemen getting selected in the first round. Notably, Lane Johnson, the ultra-athletic Oklahoma tackle, going 4th overall to the Eagles, Alabama guard Chance Warmack going 10th overall to the Titans, and in one of the biggest shockers of the night, the Dallas Cowboys select Travis Frederick, center out of the University of Wisconsin, with the 31st pick. For the first time since 2008, the Houston Texans spent their first-round pick on an offensive player, selecting Clemson wideout DeAndre Hopkins. The Minnesota Vikings came away big winners, snagging 3 players in the first round: defensive tackle Sharif Floyd, defensive back Xavier Rhodes, and wideout Cordell Patterson. The St. Louis Rams got their hands on perhaps the most exciting and coveted player in this year's draft when they selected West Virginia's Tavon Austin with the 8th overall pick. The lone quarterback selected in the first round was off the radar, with the Buffalo Bills selecting Florida State's E.J. Manuel with the 16th overall pick. Notable players not selected in the first round were quarterbacks Geno Smith out of West Virginia and Matt Barkley out of USC, and the Heisman runner-up linebacker out of Notre Dame, Manti Te'o. A total of 12 players from the Southeast Conference were selected in the first round, tying an NFL record, and for the first time since 1963, there were no running backs selected in the first round. For Bronx Radio Sports, I'm Javi Guerrero.
Hello, Bronx. The NBA playoffs have begun, and off to an early 2-0 start are the Miami Heat versus the Bucks, the Clippers versus the Grizzlies, the San Antonio Spurs versus the LA Lakers, the New York Knicks over Boston, OKC Thunder over the Rockets, and the Indy Pacers versus the Hawks. Tied at 1-1 in the series are the Nuggets and Warriors, as well as the Bulls and Nets. This has been your NBA playoff wrap-up. For Bronx Radio, I'm Ryan Navarro.
You could hear Waltzing Matilda's Adam Scott sank a 12-foot birdie putt on the second playoff as he won the 77th Masters Golf Championship. Scott was fortunate that Argentina's Angel Cabrera missed a 15-foot putt which settled on the edge of the cup, inches away from possible victory. Scott was quoted, "Everything fell my way in the end. I guess you just never know." A cold rain never did slow Scott for the first ever green jacket win for an Australian golfer. Ironically, according to the Masters website, Scott grew up admiring fellow Australian Greg Norman. Scott vividly remembered Norman choking a 6-stroke lead in the 96 Masters against Nick Faldo and Master Championship near misses in 86 and 87. Greg Norman's courageous play may have inspired Adam Scott to a Masters championship. For the Bronx Sports Report, I am Fred Mann.
Well, that's it for this week's Bronco Report. I would like to thank radio station manager Cassie Perez, news director Omar Jimenez, and all the radio station staff. And as always, be sure to support your UTP athletics. Go Bronx!